As part of the color management drill down, one of the big components of that, of course, is making profiles.
Can I interrupt?
Yes.
I like your new shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's cool. It's not the first time you've changed your shirt in the last couple of days, but...
And it won't be the last.
I like that one.
Yeah. Okay. So...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So you did kind of a simplified version with the R3000 for your custom paper. Ironically, the R3000 is so new that there isn't an exhibition fiber profile for the R3000. So I've gone ahead and made one. We've let it dry overnight. Okay. So let me go ahead and, if you would, could you trim this down for me?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked, because when we posted a notice on the LuLa forum saying we were going to be doing this and what did people want to learn, one of them was, how do you trim your prints? So,
and it's not hypercritical, just leave a little bit of the dotted line.
Okay, a little dotted line. What you can do is have a cutting surface, get a steel ruler, an X-Acto blade, but I don't suggest that is a good way of doing it.
Michael?
Yeah.
See this scar right here?
Yeah.
That's from hand cutting.
Right. What I like are rotary trimmers. The one I've been using for years is this 24-inch Rototrim. And what I like about it is that you can't cut your fingers. So you set this so that the line is there.
So much nicer than a knife and a blade.
Oh, tell me.
If you can keep your fingers to the white part with the dotted line, that's perfect.
That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, and there's a little label here that says direction of cut. These do not cut well bidirectionally.
They're one-way cutters.
They are one-way cutters. One target. Second target.
Okay, cool. Chart page 1 of 2. I'm just going to put it there to start. And I'm running I1 Profiler. This is the brand new from X-Rite, superseding I1
Match.
I1 Match and superseding Profile Maker and Monaco Profiler. So currently I've got it in the basic mode, and you can see you can do display, projector, or printer profiling. I'm going to go ahead and...
With different devices.
Well, all with an I1.
With the I1 Spectro.
Yes.
Right. Could I, because I don't have this little robot, could I use my old I1 Spectro?
Yes.
Those haven't...
If you upgrade... Yes, for a fee.
For a fee, okay.
Yeah. I'm going to concentrate on profiling a printer, and up here I've selected the R3000. So under the workflow selections, I'm going to do printer profiling, and by default, it's got some patches. It's got the 283, which is kind of like the I1 single page. It's got the 918, which is kind of Bill Atkinson target. You used a smaller one, but what I'm going to do is actually create, if you'll notice here under number of generated patches, I can actually decide how many patches
that's
created on the fly.
How neurotic you want to be.
Yes. Well, I'm going to actually do a 2000 because that's what I did. Okay. So under the target, the patch set is 2000.
Yep.
The test chart, I need to select the I1 IO. If you had an I1 Pro,
the robot.
And you could also use an ISIS or an i6 XL. So I1 Pro. The paper size is the 13 by 19. I've got the unit set in inch. It seems to default to centimeters. I don't know why. This is what I used, and then I actually printed this target directly from I1 Profiler. And I'm going to demo printing from Photoshop and also demo printing from the Adobe printer utility, because the printing targets is somehow taken a step back and become very complicated.
But the simplest way for using the software is to print out of this, because this understands that it needs to print with no color management.
Yes. So then I'm going to go to measurement, and I'm going to do it via strip. I'm using the white backing. It's not a low resolution chart. It's an RGB printer and glossy. I don't think that that actually has a huge impact, but it may. So then I'm going to actually just do measure. Okay.
The robot has woken up.
And it's initializing in the device. Please wait. So now it says target the crosshairs on the first corner, which is up here. And it's got a little crosshair, and then I click the button, and then go to the second, and then go to the third. And what this does, in essence, is allow the brain of this thing to know where the patch is. So read all patches.
How long does this take?
Well, it's 2,000 patches, so I think it's going to take upwards to an hour, but
It's now checking to see if you lied to it or not. Okay, now it's actually scanning.
yeah, now it's actually reading the first strip.
Well, this is kind of cool. So if it's sort of a boring rainy afternoon, you could just sit and watch this thing automatically create a profile.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is we're going to actually multitask, because there's no reason to actually spend the next 45 minutes watching this thing create a target.
You don't want to watch this thing go back and forth?
Oh, I think it's cool.
I do too. I want one.
But
I don't need one.
No.
Because I don't make enough profiles for this to be worthwhile. But, okay. No, so again, a question I think that some people will ask is, so I used my i1 handheld, and I had a much smaller selection of patches than this, and I made, and I've been for years now been making profiles that I'm reasonably happy with. I would love to have more patches. It just means you have a smoother profile.
potentially, but like 4,000 is not necessarily better than 2,000. 800 may arguably be better than 400. One of the things that the new targets have is a lot more neutrals, you'll notice, because part of the profiling is trying to get things as neutralized as possible. And I'll also show an option, I'm not going to demo it, but once you actually create a profile, you have the ability to go in and do a second iteration of the profile and target different areas, so that if you had colors that were really important, you could add to the accuracy of the profile.
Okay, so this needs to be said. Who needs, well, we all need, but who really needs profiles with this level of accuracy?
Well, you know, if you have multiple papers and you have a need of being able to check and constantly make sure that you're running a quality control workflow, it's useful.
Okay.
I think.
I just wonder, someone's going to say, do I really need to spend this much money? And how much? I think this is what, another couple of grand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can send, if you're only doing a couple of profiles and that's all the paper that you're going to use, you know, Eric Chan or Andrew Rodney or Chromex, there are really good third-party profile makers. But I think at some point, if you want to jump from the hand measurement to the automated measurement, and actually this is slower, the ICIS is even faster.
Well, the ICIS is a newer model.
Yeah, but it's also just a strip reader.
Yeah.
You just feed it in.
And is this still current?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think at this point we're about halfway down the first page, and let's jump on and talk about other color management stuff. We're going to let this run in the background. I will have to swap paper, so.
Could you pass me that Robbie the robot, please?
I just love
I do too.
It's like no errors.
No bong, bong, bong.
Yeah.
Go, Robbie, go!
Okay, it hadn't taken too long, but the I1 IO has measured all 2,000 patches.
But it had a helper.
Yes.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my robot. That's your robot.
Exactly.
So now the target measurement has been made, and now let's go ahead and make a profile for the R3000 with the exhibition fiber paper.
Right.
One of the things that's interesting about, both the old profile maker and the new I1 profiler is that you can actually pick the default lighting for the profile. So it has the ability to do different measurements. So in this one, I've got standard illuminance. And in this case, I can scroll down. Really, the only two that are useful is Illuminant A, which is essentially tungsten, and D50. But with the I1
Why
Pro,
D50, not D65?
because D50 is kind of the standard print evaluation illumination, at least in the graphic arts.
Right.
And I actually, in my GTI, I have actually replaced the D50 bulbs with D65.
Right.
Yeah. And it actually works a little bit better for a paper white to display match. So the other thing that you can do is actually use the I1 with the illumination disc. And if you wanted to actually go into a location and measure the exact spectral illumination. In this case, I'm just going to use D50.
Wow, I'm not that neurotic.
No. And here's the funny thing. As an example, I did a profile of luster using this, and I did it based upon D50 and also standard Illuminant A. And in soft proofing, I was looking back and forth, and I couldn't see a huge difference. It was minute. I'm going to leave it on D50. Next is the profile settings. You can choose. I tend to use colorful as opposed to saturation. It's just one of the canned. You can come in here and adjust the contrast, the saturation, and then neutralize gray. I haven't done enough testing with this new application to actually have a strong opinion on this, so I chose colorful.
Colorful, a technical word?
No.
What does it mean? Oh, that's colorful. Here we are measuring the illumination in the room, and then your setting is colorful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So under the tables, because that is what is being built,
Right.
tables to translate the color. We've got optimized quality, optimized size, size A to B, large, B to A, large. Part of this is relating to an output profile not only has a table to go from the PCS color space to the actual printer, it also has from the PCS to the display so that you can use the soft proof. And quite honestly, a really high...
So remember that, soft proofing. We are going to talk about soft proofing.
Yeah.
Right. So, but this is important, that there need to be two lookup tables, one for printing and one for soft proofing. With soft proofing, meaning having your screen pretend to be
Yes.
print output. Okay,
So you
go
can
ahead.
actually see it.
This will make sense.
Yeah.
Promise.
I'm just going to click use default here. You can vary the smoothness and you get smoother transitions, but at the expense of precision. So smoother is less precise. It's a trade-off, but since I've done a 2000 patch, I'm not going to worry about it. Quite honestly, I'll admit, I have no idea what that is.
Bradford?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's the old colorful Bradford combo.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
No, seriously.
I don't know what it is either. Don't look at me. You're the
pretty
expert.
smart. Well, yeah, I don't know what that is. So I've been told, Andrew, and I asked Andrew, so what should I use? And he said, well, just use the default.
Okay.
The thing, at this point, have been some major issues in the industry, particularly on Mac, with color sync barfing on version 4 profiles, causing a cyan tint to the background using Lightroom and CS5. At this point, there's no benefit to using version 4 ICC profiles. ICC, the International Color Consortium, is a little slow. It's a big international standards body, and it takes forever to get anything done, and version 4 really isn't done. I'd use version 2.
Oh, I just remembered. It was not Swiss, it was French, and it was the Commission Internationale d'Éclairage, the International Light Commission. That's what it was originally called.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, I just remembered it.
But they got
Yeah, right.
50 Swiss Army guys.
Was it Swiss?
Yeah,
What's
it was
the
Swiss
difference?
Army.
I thought it was Algerian.
Okay, so the next step is to actually create and save the profile. So let me give this R3000 Exhibition Fiber Paper P50. And now I'm going to create and save profile. It's generating. It actually is fairly quick, but it actually goes through a couple of times, and you'll see this progress is... Oh, okay, and now it's done.
Right.
And you can see, you can actually
It turned
see,
it into a block of kryptonite.
it's showing a gamut map plot in LAB, actually. Lightness to brightness, and I don't know what that means. But at least now I can actually use the profile for the printer. So
Okay.
profile
I've
done.
never heard you say, I don't know what it means.